Hi everyone, I hope you are already on air. I know it's a little bit late, but I hope you will have enough power to focus a couple of more minutes. Guys, thanks for joining to our webinar. First thing first, let me introduce myself. I'm Tomasz Przeździecki from Polsat and Frenzy. I'm responsible for esport and gaming in Polsat, but also in business and development in Frenzy. Together with me is Bartosz.
Hi again. For those of you who haven't the chance to meet me earlier, I'm responsible for planning strategy sales in Frenzy and Polsat Games project. So our main product, which is a TV and online channel.
All right, guys. For our point of view, we would like to talk with you more about three different but still important perspectives about the media, about the brands, about the target group. Of course, all around the COVID, before and after, and what is the future for the esport, for the gaming, how to make it more mainstream. And actually, all of that three perspectives are strongly connected. We will try to make some, we'll try to talk more about like in discussion with some pictures in the background. So let's start with the media perspective, and I have a question to Bartek. Tell me more, what do you think, how Polsat, how all of the other media react for the COVID, how impact it for the production, and what do you think it's, how it will looks like in the couple of next month.
So first thing first, when the crisis struck, the people have to stay at home, which was of course majority of our viewers. So people in age around 12 to 25. Uh, so they have to stay at home. They have more time to consume games, gaming, and esports products, everything around. But at the same time, their parents have also stayed at home with the access to the remote control of the television of the television. So what has changed? There has been a huge
Mm-hmm.
increase in news channel being ratings. They have been huge decrease in sports channels ratings. Esports as such, gaming, our channel has not grown, not stepped back even an inch in that time. But of course, other hand, our other channels, so online channels like YouTube and Twitch, of course, has multiplied their results, as Vicky have said during her panel. 60%, it's more or less
Mm-hmm.
exact when talking about online, but offline, I mean the linear television, it was hectic or even a chaotic moment because ratings of news channels grown a ton and taking it back from other channels.
Okay, so if you need to decide the television was ready for the COVID or something like that.
Um, the television as a major project, as a people being in business for
Mm-hmm.
28, 20, 29 years. Of course, they are always prepared for everything, but this is really difficult times. This was difficult time because everything being live has to be cancelled. News are live and has to be live. There is no
Mm-hmm.
changing about it. So every every health regime around uh, keeping people safe was built around those people working, of course, in news sector. But as such, we of course, as our slide is telling you, how esports looks 10 years ago. 10 years ago, we were playing in basements. As you can see, maybe the first place in League of Legends World Championships has an astonishing amount for winning 50. 50k dollars or euros. I don't, yeah, dollars, 50k. Now the 10 years have passed, and we have World Championships finals being played on huge arenas with $6 million in prize pool, for example. So for us, for esports and gaming especially,
Mhm.
it was 10 years ago was not so long ago. So we already knew what to do because we have already done it. But now we can do that on another level. We can do that
Yeah.
more entertaining, more hyped, more commercialized, more advertised, etc., etc. So for us, our esports inside of the
Mhm.
whole television was best prepared for what in September or in January, February was already yet to come. We were already the best prepared sector of our let's call it inside group of channels.
True, but like you said, 10 years ago, esport mostly focused on the digital or small events, etc. Now we need to prepare the content, the broadcast from the live event for digital, more spectacular, more entertaining, and higher quality, right? So, for example, if you're thinking about the Ultra Liga, how COVID impact for example, for your media day, etc.
Yeah, so this was the huge bump on the road, and ESL, Fantasy Expo, every company in Poland doing tournaments can back me up on this. Of course, we are doing what we're doing to be the best at entertainment providing we can. So when you have few tools
Mhm.
taken away from you, it's really difficult to maybe um, to stay on the same level, especially
Mhm.
for your partners or for the viewers. The viewer side is somewhat easier for us because all in all, when you are watching the game, which is 95% of the content we are providing, the game is the same whether it's from huge arena or whether it's from home, because it's an app with colorful people running around,
Mhm.
characters running around, shooting each other, etc. But yeah, what is convincing brand sponsors to come into our world is it has been taken away from us. So this huge events like this one, it was World Championships finals in Korea, I think, uh, with AR Dragon being digitally input into the whole feed. So it was huge investment, huge show, and that part was taken away from us. And for example, this year's IEM from ESL at Spodek Arena has been played without an audience. So uh, can you do an esports event even during pandemic? Of course you can. The show was great. The all the lasers, flames,
Mhm.
etc. was there, but without people there, without this shouting, chanting, without sponsor booths with their own agendas, with whole schedules. Uh, Everyone is there to provide entertainment, and without that, this is only a huge sad scene, the same experience as watching a concert from a huge stage, but still sitting at home. As you know, it's a different experience.
Okay, so this is some kind of conclusion from that part. So you agree that esport and gaming are resistant to physical condition, right? Like you said, you are able to manage the broadcast with all the professional players and to provide for the viewers the best quality and the best entertainment, right?
Yep, yep. We are I think, one of the most resistant to physical conditions branches. As for now, I'm
Mhm.
saying, and you can quote me on that,
Yep.
that gaming is probably one of the cheapest forms of entertainment as for now. Of course, it's cheaper to go outside and play football, but you couldn't. So staying at home, games are now being played everywhere. You have phone, tablet, PC, etc. You can watch games. You can so even if you do not buy the game yourself, or you're not good enough for your tasting, for example, you can
Hmm.
watch the best in the world. You can see how the best or your favorite influencers are playing the games, and of course you can just open an app on your phone and play
True.
everywhere you want.
True, like you said, the EM Katowice was without audience, but still they hit a huge success in with the reach and the entertainment in digital. But we also were talking about backstage about all any other esports events. I mean that they are able to reschedule for example for a couple of next weeks, etc. But compared to the classic sport events like Olympic Games, like Euro, they need to be even move farther for the next year due to a lot of investments, due to a lot of uh, money behind that, a lot of uh, offline things. So, for example, it is easier to move esports events uh, for in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, true. Globally speaking, for example, last World Championships in League of Legends have been watched by 100 million
Yeah,
people around the world. It is not much regarding to World Championship in football or Olympic Games, but Olympic Games and World Championships in football are every 4 years. We have World Championship being played every year. So when you add these numbers. So every year, 100 million people around the world are watching computer games. And it's only about League of Legends that there are multiple games being watched in this amount. So we are getting there. We are really getting there. And this, let's call it a cramped schedule, helped us to learn how to move, how to be flexible, how to adjust
hmm,
hours, how to build huge stages in just, for example, 2 months, which Olympic Games, have been built, I think, 4 to 6 years maybe. Not an expert on that. Don't quote me on that. But still, when the situation like pandemic has struck us, they have to move a year, maybe more. We don't now. We cannot say in certain that the next year
true.
these games will be played, but I can assure you that esports will be played on the best level every year, every month, every day.
True, I totally agree with you. Actually, during the COVID pandemic, we were able to show that the traditional sports also choose esport as a solution for entertainment for the viewers. For example, F1 came to the Twitch to sim racing. They using their professional drivers like Lando Norris. Also, Lando started to uh, streaming on their own Twitch channel. Of course, there is some thoughts about the effects. I mean, the scale, and of course, is it effective way or not? But for example, in USA, NBA tried to use NBA 2K as a game to play the matches against different teams. And for example, on Twitch, the viewership was uh, so much was close to the number of regular audience on the stadium, right? But the phenomenon, in my opinion, is of course the NASCAR, because they created in USA dedicated league. And of course, NASCAR is popular only in USA, but still, over 1 million people weekly watch that event. And this is some kind of conclusion that you are. Do, do you think that we are ready to push esports for the mainstream? I mean, how we should do it? How to convince the traditional television viewers in different age to 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 watch games and esports competition, how to sell them that.
Yeah, during a pandemic, this project was really cool. But will they replace the traditional sports? No, they will not. But on the other hand, remember that the average age average age of a sports fan is growing. So,
Yeah.
for example, for golf, it's 60 years old. For I don't know, football is getting maybe towards 45, etc., etc. And every year, a new gamer is born. As you can say. So the number of gamers, the people who do understand this world and who do take their opinions, are they're basing their opinions on social media, influencers, etc. So this is in times like this crisis, the people that are in charge of the budgets are reaching for those that, for the things that are familiar for them. So for sports, for example, sports channel director, that is NBA 2K, that is FIFA, that is
They are easy to understand, right?
yeah, so simulations, more
Racing,
automobiles,
etc.
yeah. So that's why it's like connection, like bridge. So this is something that the parents can watch with their children, but still, I think that if you try to hit the mainstream in television, as always, as with Dancing with the Stars, you have to get a lot of influencers, a lot of celebrities, put them to dance. Dancing isn't important. Their failures, laughs, jokes are important.
Yeah.
And that's why in esports, in gaming, if you're trying to do that on the television, it's the same because watching FIFA match over World Championship, not good. But watching FIFA being played by Robert Lewandowski, Cristiano Ronaldo, etc., yeah, that would be great.
You know that Real Madrid created their own Twitch channel, right? Guys, during the Bartosz talking, I also show you some another keep in mind. So please remember that we still need the offline events because they are our assets to make the better broadcast. And of course, this is our challenge to make the esports and the gaming more popular, more mainstream. Like Bartosz said, let's use the simple mechanic from traditional sport that is already known for the wider audience. So let's create the dancing with the stars around the FIFA with the celebrity. This is sounds a little bit wired, but still, in my opinion, it can be work.
Yeah, and it's not something you're trying to do. It's just an example, of the dancing part of Dancing with the Stars is
Sure.
as relevant as for the entertainment part as playing FIFA, playing football
Yeah.
in FIFA rather than on
Sure.
the real football stadium. It's also irrelevant for if you build your product, your project on the right pillars, which is,
Yeah.
for example, in this case, would be a celebrity.
Sure. Guys, in the other hand, of course, we have the brands, the marketers' point of view during the pandemic and what is the future. So, actually, we all know that the esports and gaming is growing even faster. This is sounds sarcastic, but yeah, the COVID, the lockdown help us to increase the number of people to playing the games, to watching the live stream, etc. But in the other hand, the brands and their spendings for the esports or even the traditional media are not accelerate. So, for example, we all know the case from the Cola that they shut down all of the expenditures for the media during the COVID. So, in even the other brands join to join to that kind of support for the people during the COVID. But in our estimation, we know that the media advertising category will lose at least 20% in 2020 due to the COVID. But in esports, it's something. Maybe this is not increase and don't lose because, for example, some of the brands change their habits with the advertising. For example, they will try to this is our, of course, our recommendation to switch the budget from different not from different activity for esports and gaming. And I mean, for example, when you during the COVID you are not able to spend your money in cinema, and I know but maybe COVID come back on the winter, etc. But so we are not able to spend the money in cinema, events, gym, POC, outdoor, etc. So this is actually really cool moment, and we should use to try it. And for example, invest to live streaming campaign, esport digital events like for example Ultraliga SL, Pro Tour, etc. In-game activity like Subway did around the Minecraft, esport team and sponsorship, because compared to the traditional sports, right, they are still playing, they are still compete against each other. And for example, we are able to create something new like mobile leagues, etc., for that community, and they will able to use that. So yeah, and of course, at the end, please try to use it properly. The really cool cases, Bartek, you are also able to talk about that. For example, during the COVID, some of the brands keep their spendings around esports. For example, BMW, they invest in 5 top different top esports teams, right? So this is some kind of really brave decision for them.
Yeah, in League of Legends, definitely the top two teams from Europe, top one from Korea, from China, and from US. So the biggest 5 teams around the globe, definitely. And this is a whole new world. As I've said, the people in our generation are so bullshit proof and so fast to check whether something's right or wrong, whether you're telling them the truth or something you're advertising is just a piece of shit. So that's why. So that's the first part. Why you should and those huge companies are investing in those young people, because you have to tell the story with their language, and this is a really different language. If you talk with I don't know 12 years old a gamer about something about the game, you wouldn't understand half of it even if you speak the same language. On the other hand, if you're speaking other language but talking about the games, you will probably get the 50% of what he's saying, even if you're from China and from Poland. Second thing is that as BMW, I've told you that more players are being born every day. So those gamers have to be prepared to their adult decisions being made in a few years, in 15 years, for example. So cars, why not? We have this is sponsors from the project we are running. So Aliar Bank, which is of course a financial
Sector.
Sector provider of financial services, and FMCG Łomża, which is of course this one is a non-alcoholic beer, which can be shown around CS:GO, because of course not every game can have the same sponsors. Of course, not every sponsor wants to target the same audience, and this is something that we achieved during the COVID pandemic.
True. From my side, the conclusion is that actually the brands are able still to achieve their KPIs about the reach, about the awareness, about the conversion, e-commerce, etc., engagement, by using esports and gaming during the COVID or after that, because still the because of the changes in the behavior and habits from the consumer. And this is our last third part. So the consumer, like during the lockdown we all spend their time in the house, etc. So the number of people who try to play the game or watching the live stream increase, like Victoria said, for example, in on a Twitch, like we already know from the number of people playing in League of Legends. So from our perspective, you actually have some the other important facts. For example, Valorant premiere during the COVID, right? That they broke the Twitch record. For example, the CS Go achieved the biggest peak players in one time, over 1.3 million. For example, on Steam, there was active over 20 million people in one time. For our local market, we know that CD Projekt, together with Cyberpunk, they're the biggest and the most important project in this year in the gaming area. They increased their value on a stock market, and they became the most valuable company in Poland. So of course they delay the premiere from the April to November, but still it shows us that
they have overcome the financial companies, petrol companies, breweries, etc., etc.
I have
Huge
one
success.
I have one last question for you. What do you think? How many people will stay in esports and gaming after the COVID because they joined to us they increase our audience, right? So what do you think? How many of them will stay after the will back to normal?
Yeah. So in my opinion, people are creatures of habits. So of course, if you build your habits long enough, it will stay with you for a time, maybe a very long time. I think, judging from our closest proximity, the people that were gamers but started families, started jobs, they have time to get back to their hobby. So it will stay for a time. But I won't say it will change. So the numbers that we have showed you will stay at this amount for the years to come. But what is really important for project like ours, it's this mainstream understanding and not being a taboo subject, not being someone who's nerd, being fat, drinking cola, eating fries in his basement. But this is we have showed that we can be one of the, I mean, games are the fastest growing branch of entertainment in the world. We have doubled the sum of movies industry, film industry, and music industry. So movies, films, music together. The games are growing twice as fast, are worth twice as much. So that's why now we are not just we are becoming a relevant part of the business, of entertainment, of culture. Because, for example, in Poland there is a game that has been put on the non-mandatory but still lecture list for in schools to be learned from, so that now the teachers in Poland can learn some historical topics from a game which has been produced in Poland. It's also important from 11-bit studio, but yeah.
We are late with the time, so to finish that, the last, keep in mind, please remember to use your esports and gaming activity like a passion point, like Bartek said, with the music, with the traditional sport. It's actually is able to for you to achieve the target group, etc. So guys, this is all from us.
Yeah,
Do you
so
have any
quick
questions?
questions. I will answer the one that has already occurred.
Okay.
So we're running election in Poland. Do you think that someday politics ads will appear on gaming esports streams, or would it be so? Should they? Yes, they should. I mean, the politics should get interested into our life, into our into our passion, into our ecosystem. Will we allow them? I don't think so. So the answer, I hope it is a good enough answer, but will they be interested? Yes, they will. Will we allow it? I think it's entertainment. It's not the place for politics. As other, I mean, you know how it ended or can end it when sports are mixed with politics. So we don't want that. And maybe it's my opinion, of course. Let's keep it this way.
Let's keep it as entertainment, right?
Yep.
All right, guys. Thank you a lot. If you would like to contact with us, use LinkedIn or something like that. One more. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.